As you join us tonight, Studio 5 is looking remarkably bare, though luckily not the presenters. Vantian seems to have let his new fleet carrier go to his head. Quite honestly. Those new chairs we had last week, gone. Apparently for his third class passenger lounge. Our archive of old scripts, gone. He's forced Flossy to use scissors to turn them into dollies for use in his new tea rooms. Doilies even. Cecil's wandering round looking completely lost, as all of his spare gin has gone to the Hot Properties bar. Chick's tin of moustache wax has been commandeered to polish the ballroom floor, and Harry's best walk is now hanging in the kitchen's first-class dining room. Amelia's got a pained expression on her face as her special chair was being used when it was taken. But Nurse Wythe has been shanghaied to work in the Hot Properties new cosmetic surgery wing, along with that special cream that she used so well and so copiously wherever the crew experienced a personal problem. As for me, the apology officer, I can see no difference whatsoever. Absolutely none, except that this red light marked incoming message has lit up.
Our mics are live.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm Harry Balzac, your host for this evening. The news crew are on tenterhooks, ready to cut the cake of news, extract their slice, drop it on the floor and conclude that it's a stupid metaphor anyway. On my left is the slice of deliciousness that is Wilma Fingerdo.
Good evening, everyone.
Next to her, the just a small slice please, I don't want a whole one, that is Mia Harkness.
Good evening, I suppose.
And on my left, the slice of merry old England that is Juan Kerr.
Good evening, Harry. Pauses to twiddle his moustache.
And finally, and furthest away because she can slice through anything with that pan, it's Norma Snockers.
Good evening, Harry.
Ow!
I can't reach Harry from here. You pass it on.
Missed! On with the news.
The little spaceship that could.
Pity Slicker Sticker Picker wasn't quicker.
It's not Christmas, but war is over.
Volcarius voyages voluntarily.
Bigger pockets means bigger profits. Keep your enemies close.
Seamless.
A tweak to stymie the sneaky beaky freaks.
Community opportunity continuity.
The Hutton Mug is well used to being involved in madcap schemes to get itself distributed into new places or old places in new ways. From the original GIMP run, which required photographic evidence of mugs being deposited in such everyday receptacles as a black hole, Draxor single-handedly delivering a mug to every starport with a commodity market within 50 light-years of Sol, to Operation Hot Mist, with truckers delivering a mug to every single commodity market in the galaxy. "Hold my beer," said Commander Connor, as he set off on his self-imposed quest as part of his aim to move all of his goods and chattels out of the bubble across to Colonia to deliver a mug and Centauri Megagin to put in it to all 84 stops on the new Colonia Bridge, and to do it in a sidewinder. The poor man believed those advertisements that Hanky created. Come to Colonia because it's lonely. Lovely. Those of you who are experts at mental arithmetic will have spotted the problem. For the rest, we'll have a small pause while you complete the calculation. If necessary, ask a friend if you can borrow their fingers for this purpose if you run out of your own. And yes, dead meat, only for the purpose of counting. Ready? Okay. 84 stops with a ton of mugs and a ton of megagin for each equals 168 tons of cargo. But the most you can cram into a Sidewinder is 16 tons. In a similar way to Phileas Fogg, who went around the world in 80 days but did not carry all of his own luggage because he was a gentleman, Commander Connor's Passepartout was a fleet carrier cum cargo ship and teabagging repository with which he replenished his Sidewinder supplies. Obviously, once, of course, he'd finished glad handing the locals at each stop. It wasn't all plain sailing by any means. Both the Gagarin Gate and Polo Harbour outposts meant a 3,000 light-year diversion in order to complete the tick list of stations. Tired, run down, a long way from the beaten path, these stations must have been a nice reminder of Hutton Orbital as the commander proceeded to deliver a little joy into the hearts of stations that were once important stopovers. Like old Wild West towns once the railroad came along, have now deteriorated, and everyone in the saloon stops talking and the pianola falls silent whenever a stranger's shop comes to dock. We know that systems go into lockdown and that the market closes in those cases. For those of us not part of Hot Mess, we know that this can cause a problem, potentially requiring a lot of work or a lot of time to resolve the situation and reopen the markets and the bars. Well, Commander Connor was by himself and after a while decided that he needed to emulate earthbound delivery drivers and just lob it in the general direction of the intended recipient. When this is taken to extremes and the package is sent spinning into deep space or is deposited on the wrong planet or buried under a pile of rocks, this is known as delivering to Banter. There were more adventures which you can read about in his journal, but his final delivery, after 48 hours, 4 minutes and 57 seconds, making 730 jumps, was at Jacques Station, where he docked at Pad 42. And the commander himself will be joining us for a chat about this adventure after the news.
Unlike the Hutton Orbital decals, the Colonia Bridge adornments have taken a long time to arrive. Hard-working participants have not had anything external to show their partners why they had to disappear for so many hours, schlepping goods to the bridgeheads. Promises of adding new shops to the megaships, explanations of "it's overtime, love, it's worth money," or "I get a coupon for a discount on my next shiny ship," held no sway, as there were no bragging rights attached. After many weeks and the conclusion of the Colonia Bridge project, these decals have finally been made available. We think that they're a bit cheeky, as what you're now doing is giving them free advertising. In other words, you're suffering from brewer's drop.
For the last 3 months, Hutton and the Paladin Consortium, plus allies, have been engaged in a staunch defence of the Paladin's home systems, fending off the enemy in Nabatian, LFT-37, and others. War after war has rumbled on, and the steamroller that is the alliance of mug-loving pilots has thoroughly squished all attempts by the EGU to take system control away from the oh-so-friendly Paladins. With the release of the latest political updates from the Pilots Federation, Alvin Diefer, fluffy-bellied overdog of Hutton, has placed an anticipatory order for a batch of Hutton mugs. And with nearly all systems firmly back in the slightly sweaty grip of the Paladins, well, they've been swinging their metaphorical swords for so long now, and stability having returned, it's time for some prizes. Intarius Fusion, maestro behind the Hutton Helper, and keeper of the Roll of Honor, will be breaking out his abacus doing a few complex sums and counting up to some very big numbers as he identifies to top war contributors and defenders of the mug. Well, for the mug. The mug wasn't actually in danger, just the principles behind the mugs. We have also been taking nominations from Paladin HQ for pilots who have gone above, beyond, and totally over the top over the last few months. Pilots like Pavel. Pavel has been awesome and humorous and stuck his neck out more than once and was in extreme danger of being detached from it with extreme prejudice. Pavel will be joined by many other names as worthy recipients of mugs over the next few weeks. A number of pilots have now gone on the offensive, and it appears that the Eggy Poos have lost control of the 4 of their own systems in recent weeks. Hutton, of course, are bowing out politely, as we don't do attacking, just defending. And breastplates aren't great for attacking, at least not compared with a portable gimbaled beam laser with engineered effects and a bit of huff. Or a pan wielded by Flossy. So, tally is, EGU lost a lot of wars, lost a lot of systems, lost a lot of stations. We did try contacting them for a comment, but it appears they lost the message.
Commander Vulcarius continues on his voyage of discovery, trying to find a way for new commanders to get a route which new commanders can follow. Trying to find a way for new commanders to get to a route which new commanders can follow to get a strong start and plenty of travel knowledge, following the self-imposed rules of a new commander, solo, travel only by jumping, all jumps reduce distance to Colonia, maximum 1 drop per system, no carriers. As Alex Zuno's partner in reducing crime, Vulcarius is well used to self-discipline, and here he has sent the second update so we can see what his progress has been.
So, what's cheaper than a Diamondback Explorer and doesn't use more time scooping than actually making the next jump? Some say it can use silent running without overheating, and that its loop of shame is quicker than decelerating properly. All I know is, it's called the Dolphin, and I have plenty of scope for building one while bound for Colonia. I spent another 10% of the bubble to scan 2 water worlds and arrive in HIP 95256, where Hansen Station could supply a DSS. The scans were also worth enough for a 2A frameshift drive, boosting my hauler to 31 light-year range. From here I only need to map a few good systems to fund the Dolphin. So what did any sensible pilot do? Over-design a route which expends most of the bubble, map 26 million in Earth-like worlds and terraformables, and buy an Asp Explorer instead. There was a minor mistake because Veach Hub in the Athens system lacked some expected modules, including the important 5A drive. Direct Dock in the Pallegini system also failed me, though it could at least supply my other missing upgrades. Few places remain which may stock the 5A drive, some too far aside to reach with only a 5B. What finally worked was sorting by population and sacrificing some lesser opportunities in favour of reaching Hereshof Gateway in the Quati system for the drive upgrade. I am at the periphery of the bubble, and I have an Asp Explorer, 35 light years range, and a Pathfinder rank from the Pilots Federation. Insurance has risen to 1 million, though I also have 7 million spare, so according to this thing I have 7 rebuys covered. Onward to Colonia, with no missions completed, no credits spent on fuel, and no turning back.
And now, fleet carrier news. Viewers in Hotbox and Hotpiss have their own programme at this point, in Welsh. Following a strike by fleet carrier bartenders, they would have staged a sit-in, but the Brewer Corporation have signally failed to provide any seating for these hard-working exchanges of goods, these pickers up of unconsidered trifles. They've had their very own expansion. Not one of those that get one all in a tizzy, but they've been made much bigger down below. Well, we presume down below is where they keep their stash of materials, and their pouches have been made 10 times bigger, and without any need to apply to nurse wire for that special cream. After last week's assertion by Brewer, where they stated that it is mandatory to be seated at all points that the carrier is moving, and if you don't watch where you're walking, that's just your own fault, they seem to have had a change of heart, probably in an attempt to let natural Darwinism assert itself, as they have now allowed the restraint field to be deactivated, so that commanders can now stand before the jump complete light is illuminated, but that tray tables must still be stowed and that the toilets are out of bounds whilst the ship is in motion, so that there isn't a problem with motions in the ship. Extra supplies of Velcro have been made available so that captains do not have to struggle to maintain their dignity or even eye contact whilst floating around the cockpit. An investigation has begun into Hankey's Clones R Us business after it was found to have been sneaking in a new clone every time new carrier facilities were being installed, leading to huge problems in the concourse and large queues for the canteen when they all went to lunch at the same time.
Over my shoulder goes one care, goes the old song, but in the case of Van Tian recently it was both of his legs, although they weren't attached to him any longer and he had quite a lot of red on him. After 21 spontaneous showing off of just how little stock he's at and having enough money to buy for a rebuy last week, as he bought a bar, he says it's ours, but we know what that means. Ours until there's a bill that comes in or someone scuffs the furniture, you know the type. Fleet carrier, the hot property live on air, buyer's remorse set in, and he thought he better refill his coffers. Always quick to volunteer, our very own Flossy agreed to accompany the disaster magnet on his quest to undergo dangerous missions on foot, which should have sounded warning bells already. He's get previous for trying to use his legs when he's not wearing a spacesuit, and deciding that after his dog's lead had turned him into a rather ungainly maypole, that he should inspect the ground quickly, forcefully, and painfully. So-called pacifist Flossy had managed to arm herself with a rocket launcher, a grade 3 double-engineered rocket launcher, because I like the colour. And after staring down the barrel, shouting, "How does this work?" fell in behind Van Tian as he crept round the settlement, looking for the bad guys. "Quick!" shouted a talkative trooper. "This way!" What the fuck was that? There was a slight pause, then a small "oh," followed by an even smaller "bugger," in a voice that sounded suspiciously like Flossy. The Flossy who was standing there, trying to hide the still-smoking rocket launcher behind her back. "Sorry, it's this new suit. I pressed the button for run, but I didn't have my proper glasses on. And it turns out that was the button for fire, deal explosive death, vanquish your enemies." Anyone could have made the same mistake. Hilarious though the consequences were, for us, not for Van Tian of course, we would encourage our listeners to follow the saying of Sol Tzu. Keep your enemies closer, keep your friends in front of you, where their willingness to shoot through things to gain their objective won't mean you end up lying on the ground as a red mist closes over you. At least that's what we think he meant to say.
Well, hasn't it been a quieter week this week in Hutton space? However, we have another war pending where we just had two. Rumour has it that the Pilots Federation have made it a lot more difficult for criminal elements to rig the markets in the last week, so we should see less volatility in the system stats. As peace really being restored to the galaxy? More on those stories coming up. Barnard Star has managed to put on 2 points in the week. Not great, but considering the perennial squabbling going on there. Now the system is quiet, and so it's a perfect time to go in and boost some Hutton influence. The also-rans are lining up for another round of bickering, but there is a window of maybe a day to make a difference. In the high 30s, we find Avic on 37, still recovering from winning 2 wars against Sirius and recovering from an outbreak. And poor little Avic is pending war again with Sirius Corporation. Do those idiots not learn? Aren't 2 kickings in a month not enough? Don't write in, it's just for fun. The war starts tomorrow. Joining Avic on 37 is Ross 671, which just needs a bit of truckerly love and influence boosting. We have an outbreak in Epsilon Eridani, so there's a trade opportunity in the shipping of medicines into the 3 stations equipped with large pads. No excuses, folks. Relieve the outbreak. Last week's expansion led us into the LHS 1387 system. We're in a war there with a player faction, Falcon's Nest, whose motto in Italian is Earth, the cradle of humanity, but you cannot live in a cradle forever. Unfortunately, because Italian is such a dead language in 3308, it confused our auto-translate module into translating cooler for cradle as arsehole. So no wonder they were so keen to leave. Anyway, I digress. Falcon's Nest has only one active commander, so it shouldn't take us long to lose to them. Having said that, we're winning 1-0, so help him out and start losing, you truckers. The system is firmly in the grip of a 3rd player faction, the Turkish Elite Force, and whilst 2 can be company, 3 is definitely a crowd. The push for control of Wolf 562 continues with Hutton within a striking distance of only 5 points behind Wolf 562 Major Inc., the controlling faction, who are on only 36%. Let's maintain the effort, people. It's within reach and only a matter of time. At the overachieving end of the Hutton systems table, we have 5 systems above 60%, 2 of which are over 70 and 1 of those is on 80. And, after shrugging off a terrorist attack, what did you shoot at them? Golden railgun rounds? Remember, peeps, don't boost or dump data into systems that are above 60%, or we just waste an expansion and waste time and effort withdrawing, just like we're doing in LHS 1387. But, we're expanding again. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, relieve the outbreak in Epsilon Eridani, boost influence in Barnard Star and Ross 671. If you want to shoot something, fight off Sirius in Avic and lose the war in LHS 1387.
Get-togethers and getting away from it all are the watchwords of our community's events. And here at the original home of the Community Events Diary, we know the Pilots Federation are going to have something working one of these days, but we don't think it'll be a patch on our treatment. We've heard about All the Clouds in the Sky, the Magellan Experience, the Nexus Exploration, Omega Phase 2, Does the Sun Still Rise in the East? Buckyball Races and the Aquarian Job, a reminder of Bobby Burns' bonkers send-off, Explore the Core Infernal Expedition, and the Lost Souls Expedition 3. Links will of course be posted in Twitch chat and also in the description of the YouTube upload. Commander Deluvian's expedition All the Clouds in the Sky are enjoying their refitted fleet carrier, the Zodiac, but his ship needs a crew, and that crew must be found and engaged.
Balant. Back to civilization, at least for a little while. The system is packed with fleet carriers. Clearly, the Brewers Corporation offer was irresistible. The crew quickly spread, attending to their own important matters. The goal for me and the most trusted and experienced crew members, Ellen Tarr and my XO, Elroy Santiago, was not only to procure necessary upgrades, but more importantly, hire the most effective crew to man those posts. Why, oh why, after centuries of evolution, is a local tavern still the best place to hire the perfect crew? Well, that's a rhetorical question and one I would not even dream of trying to answer. Laplace seemed to be the perfect spot. Indeed, after a few hours and a couple of drinks, we finalised deals with our new biological officer, Israel Cunningham, and pioneer supplies handler, Lon Dawson. It must have been around 8 p.m. when I realised that Elroy just froze, staring at something in the distance. bartender, shift change, he mumbled finally. I turned round and saw her. Confident and beautiful, she was moving from customer to customer, serving beverages and occasionally making deals for very hot but not necessarily legal items. I wasn't going to wait until somebody else did it. I approached the bar and looking straight into her eyes, I bluntly said, "Stellar Travels. 1,750,000 credits a week. We leave as soon as we can." She looked at me and said slowly,
That's not much above average pay. What's your name, sailor?
Diluvian raised crews, I said.
Diluvian. The same one?
She looked at me and seemed a little surprised. Pretty much so, I responded. She nodded and offered a handshake.
Tamia Stout.
She said, smiling gently.
You just got yourself a deal, Commander.
I bowed my head. All right then. Pack all you need and be at LHL-31Z Zodiac no later than tomorrow, 5 p.m. Sol time. We are anchored at Banter BA belt.
Roger that.
She answered. I came back to the table and announced that the crew was complete. How the hell did you pull that off? Elroy was clearly shocked. I guess we were just meant to meet. I smiled mysteriously and walked towards the elevators.
Commander Richard Fluinez M has submitted his final report from the Magellan experience.
Last Tuesday, technically yesterday, marked the original final day of the journey. There are people still to this day flying in within the extended deadline alongside the Lockhart and the extended warranty, so that wasn't the end for everyone. The Limpet plotted its final course into W. Ursa Majoris for waypoint 24, which marks the end of the journey for us. We appreciate everyone who came along. For those who are still out there who use the added time, take your time and feel free to reach out to Richard, chaotically, Phil, or myself if you need even more time to add it to make it around the final few waypoints to get credit for completion. At the end of the day, it's just a game and we have the ability to add more time as needed on EDSM. Thank you for coming along on this journey and for Hutton Orbital for covering us. Currently, the Limpet has returned to the bubble over to the nearest admin system to install the new services such as Vista Genomics and a bar. As always, the Hutton Orbital listeners have a choice in their expeditions, and we're glad they choose not only to fly with us, but to cover us. You're always welcome back here anytime, just to hang out or to join us on a new adventure.
Members of the Gary Hogan fan club have been sending in requests, but I'm reliably informed that those kinds of requests are not going to be satisfied because, well, basically, Gary Hogan is not that kind of fleet carrier, and you're no better than you should be. Commander Caboose has this update from Nexus.
Legacy of Dawn, by the time this goes live, will have safely returned to colonised space after nearly 4 months stationed out in the black. The Gary Hogan continues to prepare for account transfer and its voyage to Outpost Demelade for its year-long mission.
Commander Radium is putting another tick in the box under stages completed, as he explains. Trip Omega, Titan Contractor's latest expedition trip, closes in on the end of its second phase, with 3 more phases to go. Since our last update, 4 more generation ships have been explored, including Pleione, Spear of Hope, Thetis and Venusian. Additionally, extra locations such as Metron Hollow, a system combining 14 stars and 3 black holes called HIP 63835, and Betelgeuse have been explored. Our last 2 locations to be explored on the Trip Omega route are locations related to the Azimuth saga, including Geological Survey 23B and Oaken Point. Although Phase 2 ends here on the 26th, the trip does not, and our next biggest phase, Phases 3 Plus, will begin on the 2nd of April. Expedition Does the Sun Still Rise in the East is pottering along nicely, and its leader is doing his best to publicise space tourism as he sends us this report.
Does the sun still shine in the East Week 3? Hello, Commander. The Presence here again, having safely made it to Waypoint 4, Evelyn's Distant Sanctuary, which is a lovely little spot brimming with worlds worth mapping, at least a dozen of which get Hazel from EDDI going. Highlight of the system has to be the binary Earth-like worlds, though. No lights on the dark side, mind. It's also great to be back in the galactic core region of the galaxy, as my sticker album, or Codex to the Ordinary Commander, is lacking things from here. I have to admit, though, my rarest find was a planet with actual water geysers, vents, and fumaroles. No ice, just H2O. I've seen a few of these, but they're like a smiling Garrido or a hairy Ptolemy. We know evidence for them is out there, but it is really hard to come across. Anywho, such was my excitement, I sent a message out over the squadron chat I use, and the next thing I know is I hear the twanging riff of a guitar, as if out of the ether. This only happens with one pilot in the galaxy I know of, Commander Silver Taffer. I turn around, and there he is. Small Trute. Inside his Remlock, how cool. Black hat, cold eyes, and a genetic sampler on his hip. Howdy, Presence. Scan those varmints whilst you were turning round, Pilgrim. He drawls in a voice as thick as mud, and he tilts his hat at me. Muchas gracias, muchacho. Gonna saddle up and hit the trail again, amigo. And to the sound of a rusty spur and another jangling guitar riff, he was off as suddenly as he appeared. He's a smashing chap, is Taffmeister. Although I have no idea why he speaks that way, as I'm pretty sure he is actually from London Borough of Barnet. Until next week, TTFN.
Those buckyball races have a great need for speed, and Alec Turner dictated this report whilst taking a particularly tight right-hander. The Aquarian job, which is race 2 in the Buckyball Magic 8 Ball Championship, got off to a great start with Zgur, Alec Turner and Shea Blackwood taking an early lead thanks mostly to their SRV expertise, which really pays off in the challenging 13-kilometre long midsection of this race. However, many races have now been hindered by the unfortunate planetary alignments, obscuring their jumps from both Bridgetown and Cooper Arena. Scientists have predicted that Friday may provide the first opportunity for clear skies and some serious attempts to beat the current top times. Meanwhile, Commander Turner has decided to follow in the footsteps of buckyball legend Tanik Seldon by driving halfway around the planet, some 2,900 kilometres, to pick up a replacement ship after an unfortunate incident at Cooper Arena resulted in the destruction of his first one, leaving him stranded in his SRV. Last reports suggested that Commander Turner's SRV was behaving erratically after being airdropped large quantities of cigars and booze while still 600 kilometres from his destination. A reminder now that Team Hotbox have arranged a memorial for one of their fallen commanders. Bobby Burns' bonkers send-off will take place this Saturday 26th of March at 2000 UTC. Mr. Venecia has this to say.
This will be a memorial service for Bobby Burns, followed by some pirate hunting in his memory. We will meet at Bonkers Station in Wolf 25. Feel free to wear and or skin your ship in pink. We will hold a memorial service, share our favourite memories of Bobby, and raise a toast in his honour. PC commanders with the Xbox app installed are welcome to join us in party. Just let one of us know. We'd be happy to have you there. So yeah, let us know if you want to come along. After the service, we'll all head to a Hazres where we can shoot up some pirates and have some laughs while shouting abuse at the hapless miscreants. It's what you would have wanted.
Explore the Core Infernal Expedition leaves on Saturday. Commander Infernal Moose tells us more.
It's time for another expedition. Since our last expedition, the Great Galactic Circumnavigation Infernal Expedition, focused on the fringes of the galaxy, this time we will explore the core. This will be a complete compact circumnavigation of the galactic core with lots of time for exploration and sightseeing. We are planning to visit some spectacular locations as well as travelling high above and below the galactic plane for stunning views. We will be travelling over 88,000 light years on this voyage over the course of about 5 weeks. We will of course plan on having many events including mass jumps, SRV, ship launch fighters, ship races and on-foot events for Odyssey players. All services are installed on D-Scan will soon be over, our fleet carrier, including all carrier concourse services, allowing everyone to take as many ships and modules as they like. We'll also be able to enjoy watching the carrier jumps from the bridge. All are welcome to join. Departure is from Gebel at 1200 UTC on Saturday, March 26th.
The Fatherhood is a long-established, well-respected faction in our galaxy, and we have news direct from them on their latest expedition, the Lost Souls Expedition 3.
After much planning and anticipation, the Fatherhood is pleased to announce the Lost Souls Expedition 3. What is the Lost Souls Expedition? Several years ago, a brave group of explorers set out from the familiar space around the bubble to set eyes on planets, phenomena, and a great many icy bodies that no one else had seen before. They navigated and mapped their way across the Formidine Rift and investigated what happened to the lost souls aboard the Zuara. A year later, invigorated by their success, the Fatherhood sent a second group of explorers and mappers to Colonia and west across the void. Lost Souls 3 aims for lofty goals. We will be travelling due west from Harjangi until there are no longer stars to jump to, then south around the Outer Arm, then back to Harjangi for drinks. Lost Souls expeditions are tailored for explorers of all abilities. Whether you're a seasoned vet or you have never left the bubble, you will have a place amongst the Lost Souls. Lost Souls 3 is expected to launch on April 3rd, 3308. If you wish to join, please register on the Fatherhood's website and then join our Discord to meet and greet your fellow travellers. For those Hutton Orbital listeners not able to come along on the ride, we'll provide regular updates of the latest shenanigans and discoveries during your weekly radio shows.
That was a long list, but I bet that's not all of the events that are going on out there. If you think we've missed one, email I took part at huttonorbital.com and fill us in with the details.
Oh, I think I'll have to go for a lie down. Oh, that was quite a marathon. Yes, it was a lot to talk about. What a lot of events that people are doing out there. Well done. Hooray.
Yay.
I think before we go any further, I'd just like to compliment the scriptwriter for the plethora of tongue twisters in this week's headlines.
You're very welcome. It's like it's like he's never been away. All right, yes. Yeah, go on. So, what have got? Chick, shall we start with our normal starting point?
Oh no, that's the ending point, isn't it?
Yes.
We did mention the chap we were going to speak to after the news. Is that after the news?
Yes, that's
after the banter?
after it. Right at the end. I'm going to make him wait until right. Commander Connor is going. We're going to be talking to him live. At the end of all this, we get all this crap out the way, and then we'll talk to him.
Can we do the bit at the start first?
No.
Is that just a mad idea?
And yeah, let's do the bit at the start. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Let's
Yeah, well,
stick to
We're,
that.
we're starting at the start.
So, Amelia, ask your usual weekly question.
So, has anyone seen the Frontier live stream?
You betcha. It's like they,
Really?
It's
Yes.
like they never went
Holy hell.
away. I've got to add, it's the only live stream featuring a Hutton mug in the foreground. Anyway, we treat today to Frameshift Live number 2 with Arf and Zach.
Arfin Zach. I think Oakenshield went to
Who's
school with
Arfin
him.
Zach?
Thorin Oakenshield went to school with him. Just to hide in the cupboard under the sink during art class because he was scared of pastels.
Ah.
But no double denim this week. You'll notice sort of black and grey. You notice one of them was wearing black pants and the other one had a black top and one had a grey top. Anyway,
He's wearing black pants.
Yeah, black pants.
Well, you must have been watching the After Dark Frameshift Drive Live.
Change the gamma on my monitor. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So what do we have this week? We took more Twitch drops. Everybody got their. I was 98%.
No, I
on
have
one.
not.
Why would I have got that? How would I have got that?
You could put it on in the background.
I got home from
Turn the
working
sound
time.
off.
Got
just
home
let your
from
Twitch
working
drops-
time for the last 10 minutes of it.
Anyway, so there was more purple. If you didn't get your T9, what are they called? Spring calm,
Garment,
and
spring lax. Yeah.
It sounds like
Sounds like a laxative.
Yeah, I've been on a
I
bit
don't
of problem,
like
so
the
I've
sound of-
taken me spring lax. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of spring lax
they're
at
like
all.
things you
Do
might.
you suffer from bloating? Take spring lax.
It's like things you find in your grandmother's bathroom cabinet, isn't it? So there were purple skins, purple paint jobs, purple.
They have a thing for purple, don't
They
they?
do have a thing
They
for
do.
purple.
Oh, well, it was the T9.
Probably easier to program.
Have you seen?
Not unlike someone we know.
Well, don't forget. Can anybody answer the question sensibly?
Probably not.
Why they had a thing for purple
Yeah.
on Twitch
Well,
drops?
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Flossy's going to tell us, I think.
It's their way of welcoming everyone. Oh no, I forgot what that said. Purple.
Why is it
Why does
purple?
it say purple? I've forgotten now.
Seamless.
Because the Twitch colour.
Twitch is
purple?
purple.
Twitch
If you
Yes,
look at
that's
your
right.
Twitch
Okay.
Because
tab,
it's Twitch.
it's purple.
Yeah, that's right.
But are you my
the
purple thing's
purple
twitching. Is that the same thing?
No.
Oh,
But
God.
so the purple things will always be available
Somebody keep an eye on Dead
as a
Mate.
sort of welcome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm a bloke. There's
You can
only
have a purple
seven
python.
colours anyway. So, one interesting thing about Twitch is they're going to start a partnership program with elite streamers, the Twitch Drops Partnership Program, or TDPP.
TDPP.
Yes, I keep getting adverts to fix that. But anyway, for elite, and this is for elite streamers. The next few months, they're going to start it. Next couple of months, so they're going to be exclusive Twitch drops, goodie bags, and other exciting stuff.
Amelia, have you seen the spring paint jobs? They're for the Type 9.
I haven't. No.
They
you
are.
didn't watch the show
What they've
last
got
week?
is a kind of one
I
that's a
couldn't be on
blue.
the show last week. It's
They
little
get
I'm
one that's
watching.
like a. They get one that's like a blue background with kind of cherry blossom flowers on it.
Yeah,
I like
sort of-
cherry
it's
blossoms.
Sort of
It's-
pale green
yeah.
and lilac and flowers.
Lilacs and blues and yeah.
That sounds very Japanese.
Yeah, it looks quite
It's
Japanese.
very
Yeah,
Yeah.
spring is the clue. Spring.
yeah, a slightly hippie feel about them as well. I have
Yeah,
to say.
it's- if
I
that's
do,
some
I do like
orange and-
hippie look.
Yeah, have
You'll
a
love-
look at
you'll
this.
love
You
these.
can actually buy some of them in the store.
Oh, cool. I need to
A
have a look.
store
Let's have a look at that one. I've got the first one, and I'll have a look later.
Talk
So
among
they-
yourself for a
they-
second while I frantically do stuff. Hang on. Go on.
Oh.
Keep going.
don't let the sound of buttons being pushed get in the way. They covered the little update 11 hotfix that we got when on Tuesday, and now the bartender's pockets are now 10 times bigger,
Time Lord pockets.
but you still can't buy a beer. And this
Oh.
is on a shit with brewer written on the side of it. That's
I
the
mean, what
fancy
is the point, really?
Yeah. Sobriety, that's what the galaxy's coming to. You've
There
got
we
to
go.
have thousands and thousands of sober pilots out there. Then what?
I'm showing the spring calm and spring lax, and X spring and X lax.
In the
Yeah,
from the
on
bathroom
Twitch.
cabinet. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
Unfortunately, it's good news, bad news, depending how you look at it. There's no update at the moment on enhanced console account transfers. They didn't say they weren't going to do it, but there's just no news. So watch this space.
Yeah.
And anybody noticed this week that the Flossy's bit has been copied and in the form of the dangerous community events calendar?
Yes. They're always trying to keep up with us, aren't they, Frontier?
Yeah.
What
Copy our ideas.
I was going to say, Flossy, what do you think about that?
I think.
Have you been approached by the Pilots Federation to voice each one?
No.
No. Check your post box. No. Stuck behind the door, under the floor mat. No.
See how it goes. But if there's anything on there, I'll make sure it comes on to ours as well.
So I assume somebody's posted the link in the chat, but if you're on a Firefox browser, it can makes your machine crash. So
it was very, very slow. Yes.
Best not to. Yes.
And it wasn't just me that had that problem, as it were.
Did I just see the spring lax pop up on screen just then?
Yeah, so it won't be. Put it back again. Here we go.
It's got blah at the moment.
Give it a few seconds. Here we go.
There you go, Amelia. Yes. Just for you. We'll just stop the show at this point.
Yeah.
Just for
we can edit it out and make
there they are.
If we edit a bit out, it'll sound like Amelia was actually paying attention.
I know, right?
It's squashed up those T9s, aren't they?
They're very long T9, wide, I would say, very
yes.
wide.
Well, they are. They fill the whole slot, don't they?
But that's very pretty. I like the blue, purpley blue.
I've got 91% of that one.
Yeah.
Did they cut off the wing or something? Paint it fully?
Flies around in circles, yeah.
Paint run.
I got up to 91% when they cut the stream.
The one I
and that's really tricky. If you try and cut the stream halfway through, it can be very painful.
Across the streams. The one I got
at
off
our age, Flossy, we have to be careful.
The one I got off of the store was blue in colour with cherry blossom flowers, like kind of pink cherry blossom flowers.
So, yeah.
Variety. Ow!
I think I need some spring lax in my life.
Yeah,
that sounds like the one that they're going to do for the crate.
I need
they had a preview of the crate.
Bunged up and bloated.
Anyway, moving on from paint jobs, Galnet News is coming to Frameshift Live, the new Frontier live stream, in a format to be revealed. So Zach said they were going to do it, and then didn't really say how they were going to do it. So they talked about ticker tapes or maybe having news live.
That's another idea of ours.
I refer you to my earlier statement about them stealing stuff from us. It was our idea to have space legs first, you know.
I want to come on to space legs in a minute. Should Beetle, Spoon, and What's It be worried?
No. They're in a class by themselves. It's been requested that way.
So, doing the rounds earlier in the week was a very, very nice video called the lensing effect. That was Commander Two Fingers and Commander Ree, amongst others. Now, Palantir is going to post the original into the chat, but on the live stream today, because the music was all kind of shenanigans about the copyright of the music, Frontier couldn't play the original, so they put their own music to it, which actually I thought was very good. Because some of you are aware, stop there. But excellent video. Really, really well done. And apparently I think the YouTube version is in 4K as well. So if you've got a good monitor, it's well worth going to full screen and watching it. Everyone seen it? What do you think?
It's incredible.
It's really, really nice.
It's a really good use of all of the facilities of the free camera. I think There's no, well, only one point. Is there any sort of like little judder where you could tell it's not a real camera in real space? But
Yeah, I saw that. But it's still very, very good.
it is. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good.
So then the usual round of stellar screenshots. I didn't recognise. Still excellent stuff. Paul Crowther always picks a good one. So I didn't recognise any commander names that we know. Maybe you do, but really good stuff. And then somebody in the chat asked a question, because obviously they sit in the, into the lobby of I think it was a station, not a fleet carrier, but they sit in with obviously a game-generated background. And then somebody asked if the things in the foreground, i.e. the two mugs on the table, were computer-generated as well. So they obviously picked one up and gave it tap, tap, chink, didn't drop it, or the handle fell off. That would have been hilarious.
Sounds like one of mine.
Yes, real.
Get to be a
What
theme
kind
now.
of handle did it have on it? Was it a right side up handle or an upside down handle?
I think it was right side up. I'll have to go back and look, but we do know where that mug came from, though, don't we? I mean, not obviously not hot, but they've obviously they've had a rummage in Sally's desk and
I thought you
pinched
were
her
going to
mug.
say they've had a rummage in Sally's drawers, but
I didn't go there. I thought about it, but didn't do that joke.
You were too classy for that. I wasn't. You were.
And then part way through, because obviously fleet carriers are taking up to, what was it? I saw 48 minutes the other day, obviously on Never Jumped Your Fleet Carrier on patch day. But half jumped his carrier, waited 15 minutes, then went back to it, had presence of mind of the timing in a show, and then we saw our fleet carrier jump from the command deck, which was pretty good, after seeing 21s, obviously, last week. And then he did some arfing about in his T9, delivering leathery eggs, and not the fully shaped balls, kind of Six Nations type of leathery eggs.
And they've been saving some stuff up, haven't they, for us? It's been worthwhile watching.
Yeah.
And not just for more purple.
They're going to do another one next week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
You remember I was saying about them stealing ideas?
except
Them
they
trying to
would
do a
for-
show every Thursday, you see.
That's 3.
Yeah. Well, they've got 2 idiots doing it as well, so there's another idea they've stolen from us.
Yeah. They've got a better quality of idiot than us, though.
Well, they probably actually pay theirs.
Yeah.
Ah,
Our village doesn't have an idiot. We just take it in turns.
why is it always my
So,
turn?
no, it isn't. Not yet.
No.
It's Amelia's, but we'll line it up. But
Well,
you know the new thing that came with fleet carriers is we can now. What can we do, Amelia?
Well, you know, we can sit down now. Are we wearing Magna pants?
Our Lave Radio's got a patent on them.
Well, as long as we don't get to see Magna Pants interiors, I'll be happy.
Magma pants, though. Magma pants, like hot pants.
No.
Like really hot pants.
Yeah, like really hot pants.
No, there's like
Very short, really hot pants.
Yeah.
instead of Velcro pants. Imagine Velcro pants. Every time you
Magma
start, you
pants.
think you've ripped the arse out of your flight suit.
Yeah.
The thing is,
You
in
would-
order for Velcro pants to work, you'd have to have this corresponding Velcro on the other
Yeah.
end.
It wouldn't do anything, would it?
Wrong.
Yeah. But I'd collect fluff.
And practical jokers had put the wrong, turn the Velcro around the
You
other
wouldn't
day.
have.
So,
You wouldn't have that problem with Magma pants.
no, you just
So
go
having
straight.
Velcro pants working effectively is the long shot.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you want strong
Oh.
magnetic fields around
Mo-
your
moving
pants region.
moving slowly on. Yeah, we've got
You just end up stuck to a nose.
Hanky wittering on again. Hanky's bus going again.
Yeah. The Hanky Bus official fleet carrier bubble 2 Colonia buses.
Ding ding, tickets please.
Hold very
Force
tight,
it,
please. No,
Hanky.
not onto that. Go on. Sorry. Sorry.
Forsake Hanky and Emperor's Fury, both running at the same time and in opposite directions. The fleet carrier Forsake Hanky is at Wolf 124 and is taking on passengers to Il Proco Centauri in Colonia, 6 a.m. UTC, Wednesday, 6th of April. It will be returning 6 a.m. UTC on the 13th of April. The fleet carrier's Emperor's Fury is at Il Proco Centauri and is taking on passengers to Wolf 124 in the bubble, 7 a.m. UTC, Wednesday, 6th of April, returning on the 13th. Estimated arrival time will be approximately 12 a.m. midnight UTC. All aboard. Facilities: shipyard, outfitting, lounge, bar, canteen, gift shop, gym, canteen, restaurant, takeaway and delivery service. Any donations of low temperature diamonds, tritium and void opals greatly appreciated. Please donate on arrival, please, as I've full loaded carriers at the minute.
And that's from Hanky. Bossy told you what to do.
Bossy.
Yes.
Bossy!
Bossy.
Yeah, but that's Hanky. Right.
No.
Keeping the momentum going. Alex Zuno, friend to us and not friend to the pirates, brought up an issue that she's found that Class 3 frag cannons won't deploy if you're in Horizons, only in Odyssey. I don't know if anybody else has come across it, but it's rather put a crimp in Alex's flying style. She's managing, and you'll see later she's still managing properly. But if anybody else has spotted this, I'll put a link in the Twitch chat of the original person who reported this, so you can go in and upvote it if you're having the same issue as Alex. That's about the only time you're ever going to be classed in the same place as Alex Zuno is having the same problem. That's about as far as you get. So I'd take what you can get if I was you. We mentioned the community calendar, didn't we? I've got a little picture there. There's a picture of it. Yes, I thought it's quite nice. And then I think that it's and then there's I put up a picture of one of the examples of something that people have put in their own expedition there, and it's good, but and it's easy to find information. It's easy to go and see what's going on, but it's.
There needs to be a button to click where Flossy reads that out.
Yeah.
Little picture of Flossy pops up.
And I think it's going to be very interesting. I look forward to seeing what it's going to be like, how much this stuff that's in there. I think it's great to have a central place, ideally, to put all of these things. Because at the moment, I'm going around looking at EDSM, Inara, forums, Discord, a whole load of places to try and find people mentioning their new events. It would be useful for them all to be in one place.
And do you think that's going to change at all? You're still going to be looking at those places?
I don't know. I think we should give it a try. Definitely give it a try.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Well, I think, let me turn off the calendar picture. Well, I think we're at the point where we're just about ready. Has anybody else got anything before I go and get our special guest?
No. I just moved my seat up. Hold on.
No.
All right. Okay.
Nope.
Hang on. And
Right, I've moved across.
there you are. And quite unceremoniously, I've moved our special guest.
Yeah, just let him in.
Yeah. So,
That's it. You got enough room there? Yeah.
yeah.
Move up.
Ow!
Oh, so move your feet out of the way. Good evening.
wasn't my feet.
Good evening. Good evening. You're known as Commander Connor during our earlier news item, but people know you better as.
Commander Denix.
No, never heard of you.
Way to get me to pronounce it there very nicely.
Yeah, I'm not silly.
Don't know that.
Just despite appearances, I'm not silly.
Appearances.
Oh, I don't know.
That's why the camera's off.
Yeah. Oh, you do not want me to put the camera on. No.
We have enough trouble changing light bulbs.
So tell us about your a little bit of background. And I've been told to make sure it's only a little bit of background because you did tell me you'll go on till the cows come home. So, yeah, a little bit of background about your
very much. Yeah.
Your
So Connor's my second commander who last March decided to head out and just bounce around the Formidine Reefs slowly for a good, in the end, 10 months. Out there just quietly doing absolutely nothing, exploring and finding and the usual palaver that you do. And with the next set of the frameshift drives getting ready to give the extra range, he flew back. Genix called him back and said, right, you can get better drives. Came back. And he's like, great, I've got better drives. What am I going to do now? And it was a case of, yeah, well, let's just go and hide out in Colonia. Let's do Frontier Elite and see if anybody recognizes that terrible, terrible in joke. And yeah, got ready for that. But if you're going to go somewhere, you need a pointless mission. You can't just go somewhere and do nothing. That's
Truckers are
boring.
specialised in that, of course.
Yeah, you just need something that nobody's done before because nobody's that one step to the left of a Bambleweenie 17.
Oh, you do yourself a
So that
disservice.
was that
You're in plenty of company like that.
No, everybody else went one step to the right. I'm just facing the wrong way. So that meant there was another 3 or 4 weeks of just sort of getting everything ready with the realization that it was going to not really be a solo expedition ship-wise. It was going to be a multi-fleet, get it all in a fleet carrier. Oh, that means we have to buy a fleet carrier. That means we need money. So that means we need engineering. So that meant another 3 weeks of doing the engineer unlock cycle to get the really interesting ones. And then it was all ready. So it's just like at that point, the Colonia Bridge was looking ready to do phase 3. So it's just like, yep, there we go. There's a nice hop and a skip and a jump all the way out to Colonia. The fleet carrier can go along there. Let's do that. I wonder why Frontier Developments have given us this bridge away from the bubble. Innocent look.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yeah, and that started it.
And we've obviously covered several of your adventures during. I mean, it's not exactly a 5-year mission, but it was a fun thing to do, and it was different doing it in a Sidewinder with attached fleet carrier.
Yeah, and it was like. So one of the things is it meant I got to go to Colonia in a Sidewinder. Now, admittedly, not a completely stock Sidewinder because crazy, not stupid. So it did have some work done on it.
Sorry, just making it. Crazy, not stupid. Just making a note of that. Thank you. Okay, carry on.
Yep. And so the fleet carrier has to go out. The Sidewinder has to go out. But you've got mugs. There needs to be a complete chain of mugs all the way out. Now, you've 2 options there. One of them is to go out to a station, drop the mug off, come back to Hutton, pick up one more mug, go out to station 2, come back to Hutton, go out again with station 3. And that's fine for the first 3 stations. But when you have to go all the way out to station 55, then back again to pick up a mug, and then all the way back out to station 56, and back to get one more mug, and then all the way out to Colonia and one more mug, it kind of looks then a little bit like how many Sweet Valley High books there are, which is frankly 17 million too many. So there was a nice, cute compromise in there, which is do a carrier drag. The carrier takes all the supplies. The Sidewinder is the little shuttle between the carrier and the stations and the megaships, much like a CG, to be honest. The difference here, though, is I never actually traveled on the carrier in terms of doing jumps. The carrier flew out alone. The Sidewinder led it through, so it did the jumps to each station. So there is an unbroken route of Sidewinder carrying the mugs all the way through. So in times gone by, we have a solid line through all the new Colonia stations, through all the brewer ships, and even to those 2 little abandoned outposts that are thinking, what have we done to deserve this?
No. Bringing the light of the mug.
It was quite heavy mug, actually. I mean, I never did actually open the box to work out whether it was 1 mug that weighs 1 ton, or whether it was 1,000 mugs that weighed 1 kilogram each.
I think you'll find it's just 1 mug with a lot of packaging.
Yeah, can you imagine the bubble wrap in that and the noise it would make?
Not in space.
Oh yeah, that's where the frameshift drive noise comes from. If you listen very, very carefully, it's actually 1,000 tons of bubble wrap just getting squished in space-time.
Well, that's obvious, yeah. You say that like it's news.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be news when Frontier put it on the live stream next Thursday.
Yes,
so,
yes.
You know.
Yeah. As everything else. So you had plenty of fun doing that. You delivered mugs to everywhere, and you have done something very truckery. And you come here to tell us about it.
Isn't that
Very
the whole point?
I would like to say thank you very much for bringing us up to date with all that lot. And it is traditional, is it not?
It's very
who should I? Amelia, it's traditional when we get somebody coming on the radio and providing something for us. What is it that we do for them?
We mug them.
That's it.
So hand over your wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wallet, phones, car keys, the lot. Come on.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
Shoes
Well,
and what-
Mate, that's
I've
a
got a
crap
Swedish
phone.
horn.
Is that
Will
the
that
best
do?
phone you've got?
No, that's a gun. I can't find a phone. I can find.
I
Is it
don't want a
better-
gun. I want a phone. I want your phone, not your gun.
I've got a toothbrush.
Yeah, cool.
Will that work?
Oh yeah, that worked.
Anyway, Jedix.
Oh. Shouldn't have had the beans.
No, so, Jedix, after the show, if you would care to send an email to the usual address, which I'm very well aware that you are very well aware of, with a delivery address, we will furnish you with your very own cannot be bought Hutton Orbital Radio mug. This is not your silver thing.
Delightful.
Now, if you'd done it,
It's better than the silver and the gold.
you could have got
it's
silver.
The best mug.
Yeah, it is.
Just to be clear, though, it's not a mug
And the
with
fact
a radio
that it's
in
the
it.
only mug, and the fact that it's the only mug I own, it doesn't make any difference. It's
No,
the best
God,
mug.
no.
If you're looking for an aerial and little knobs, you're going to be disappointed.
There's a joke in there about little knobs, I think, but we'll leave that for
We've done it
somebody
about
else to
6
pick up.
times tonight.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. It made me deaf. You know.
Made you what?
Yeah.
Make you deaf.
So thank you very much. I mean, feel free to hang out in here in the rest of the show if you want, or you can I can move you back to the green room, whichever you
I can
prefer.
hang around here.
So
I mean, I have a jaunty march. If
no,
you'd like to do
that's fine.
when you
No,
get to the next
that's fine.
break.
You can do it. Just don't sing along with all the theme songs, okay?
It is a very nice mug.
Mm-hmm. No, it is.
It's a lovely mug.
And it's the current. It will be coming from the home of Alvin. That's where they're currently being sequestered. So,
Chipmunk.
the
If there
radio
some
mug.
ginger hairs on it, honest.
They're
wasn't
they're
nice.
Alvin's. Yeah. Okay.
Give it a wash. Might have some slobber on it.
Are we ready to? Oh, I better.
Snoz.
I've got to go back up. Yeah. So, are we ready to move on for the rest of the show? Okay. Okay. Well, let's first of all have a word from our sponsor.
Aardvark.
Aardvark!
Flossy thought she got away with it.
No chance.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's Community Goals News. Last week's CG maintained security in Gliese 868. It's finished just short of Tier 5 with 405,571,939 credits earned. And now this week's new CGs. Maintain Riot Alliance membership or prepare Riot for independent status. Deliveries to the Riot Pro Alliance League or Riot Mining Coalition will help determine the system's future status. The system's controlling faction, Riot Mining Coalition, wishes to declare independence in protest against Sirius Corporation's proposed anti-Xeno defence pact with the Alliance Defence Force. Another faction in the system, the Riot Pro Alliance League, broadcast a statement in opposition by Chief Administrator Louisa LeBlanc. Severing Riot's links with the Alliance over some misguided idealism would be hasty and short-sighted, given the Thargoid threat this defence pact is intended to prepare for. We believe that increasing supplies of advanced medicines, skimmer components and building fabricators will reassure the public of the security benefits of membership. The Alioth Independence faction has kindly provided a megaship, the Torberis, where pilots can deliver these commodities. Although Sirius Corporation is not officially involved with these competing initiatives, the Megacorp is offering a pre-engineered heatsink module to independent pilots who make deliveries to the Torberis. The heatsink module has increased ammo at no extra mass, but with a longer reload time. The top 75% of contributors will receive one pre-engineered heatsink module. Top 50% will receive 2. Top 25% will receive 3. Riot Mining Coalition's CAO Fergus Cassidy announced, Prime Minister Morn's insistence on working with Sirius leads us to believe our interests are best served outside of the Alliance. To prepare for Riot's potential transition to an independent system, we ask for shipments of advanced medicines, skimmer components and building fabricators to be delivered to Davis High Starport. It is expected that if Riot Mining Coalition is successful, all systems currently under its governance would similarly be classified as independent. The dual initiatives begin on 24th of March and will run for 1 week. Should the campaign to support Riot Mining Coalition or Riot Pro Alliance League reach the maximum tier, it will end immediately. To earn rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before delivering advanced medicines, skimmer components and building fabricators to either David's High or the Torberits in the Riot system. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Thank you, Flossy. Am I wrong, or do the rewards seem very one-sided? Time.
Yes, it has happened before.
It has, yeah. Anyway, time to go over to Beetlejude and Wotherspoon, as they are colloquially known. They're much braver than I am. I mean, I only eat, drink, wear, rub up against dangerous, rare items without a safety net. They go into politics. Brave, foolish people.
Galnet News Digest, 24th of March, 3308. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, the Emperor holds talks with the Marlinist Prime Consul. The Alliance gets ready to head off the Riot Declaration of Independence. And Salvation is mining for information deep in Guardian space.
Emperor Arissa has conducted some highly public ceremonies this week, but she's also been meeting Prime Consul Coyote Tau of the Marlinists, in private. Unlike changes made behind the scenes over the past few weeks, since she was restored to the throne, the Emperor seems to have been making a big show this week to demonstrate her grip on power. The imperial aristocracy was invited to attend the palace to reaffirm their fealty to Emperor Arissa in a series of grand ceremonies. In parallel with these public ceremonies, the Emperor has been working with the Imperial Diplomatic Corps in private, receiving briefings and providing policy guidance. And the Emperor made time for one very special guest. Prime Consul Coyote Tau of the Marlinist Consulate arrived for consultations in the megaship Fairfax Vision, which was previously the NMLA flagship Steel Majesty, and which has been parked up discreetly 20,000 light-seconds from Capital. If the Emperor is taking the time to give audience to a representative of the peaceful Republican factions that have previously expressed a wish to replace imperial rule with a democratically elected Senate, there must be hope of a reconciliation between the Empire and these one-time citizens.
Pro-Alliance factions are preparing to put up a fight to stop the Riort Mining Coalition from declaring independence. And they've moved a megaship into the system to show they mean business. The controlling faction in Riort has said it plans to declare independence from the loose collection of systems known as the Alliance to prevent interference from the Sirius Corporation. And it is to counter this threat of a split in the Alliance that the Riort Pro-Alliance League has acted. The megaship Treberitz, managed for the League by the Alioth Independence, has been placed into orbit around Riort 3. Spokesperson Louisa LeBlanc explained that keeping the Alliance together was a more important priority than the minimal interference in internal Alliance affairs that Sirius Corporation's anti-Xeno megaships might cause. However well-intentioned, bringing another megaship into the Riort system, which was recently the site of a battle to repel the Sirius megaship Chariot of Rhea, seems to be inviting another conflict. Sirius Corporation declined to be drawn into the controversy, stating that this is a matter for the Alliance to sort out.
Taurus Mining Ventures says it's searching for radioactive signatures and irradiated materials in SINUF EN-H D11-106. But both of its megaships are more than 100 light-years away in completely different systems. Secretive Scientist Salvation's mining faction has previously supported the creation of the anti-Thargoid superweapon, and Salvation has promised to come up with something even more devastating this year, so it seems likely that this investigation is part of that effort. Research Director Dr. Reuben Carpenter explained that unusual radioactive sources have been detected in the system, which contains ancient Guardian ruins, and that the radiation has been dramatically transforming the molecular structure of naturally occurring substances. Taurus Mining Ventures plans to gather and analyse the irradiated materials for potential special purposes. It appears that they plan to mine these naturally occurring substances in bulk to feed the laboratories on board the Heart of Taurus and Musashi, which they claim have jumped into the system. But there's some doubt over Taurus Mining Ventures' story. Not only is there no sign of radiation sources in the system, but the Heart of Tori is 103 light-years away in SINUF GT-G B44-4, and the Musashi is also just over 100 light-years away in HIP 39768. Independent commanders are strongly advised to resist the temptation to cash in on Salvation's apparent generosity.
And that's this week's news. Galnet News. We read the news, so you don't have to.
Thank you, Beetlejuice and Wotherspoon. That Salvation's a wag, isn't he? I think we'd all like to give him a piece of our mind if we met him. Well, nearly all of us. Some can't spare that much. It's over to Mia Harkness and the Hutton Helper results.
What? I don't understand that. Anyway, welcome to the Hutton Helper results. The Hutton Helper results are sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a big bag of daffodil bulbs. No, they're not onions. This week we have the following events. The Clocks Go Forward, Welcome to the World of Tomorrow Shield. The Type 9 full of garden furniture, Cup Winners' Cup. The Chasing Bunnies Under the Cherry Blossom Challenge. The Spring Cleaning the Red Sites Deja Vu Trophy. The Taking Out the Trash Champion of Champions Championship. The Spring is in the Air. It just smells a bit like farts. The extravaganza. So, put your clocks forward an hour, their cast a cloak till May is out, and always take a brolly, just in case. This week's Hutton Helper results are: Sirota covered 55,000 light years for distance travelled. Sinister Hedgehog sold 39,000 tonnes of stuff. Top mission runner is Bograt, who managed to record a score of 583 mission points. Alex Zuno, true to her word, handed in 1,234,567,890 credits of bounty vouchers as a present for Commander checks. TWFIR handed in 1,039,791,675 credits worth of combat bonds, and the M Grey taxied 389 passengers around the bubble. So, decals this week for Sinister Hedgehog and Johnny S. Please email ag2part@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of a grow bag, some brain tree seeds, and a roll of turf with a Hutton-shaped cutout. We have 2 Hutton runs this week. Uber Meg, Shut Up Meg, made the run in 1 hour, 33 minutes and 24 seconds for 489th place overall. William P. Ursus recorded a time of 1 hour, 40 minutes and 53 seconds for 533rd place. Looks like we have 2 new visitors to the orbital, so don't forget to get your tetanus and Ebola jags on the way out. Some further advice for new commanders, or new visitors to the orbital. Don't have the tentacle fries from McThargoids. If you hear the sewage tank rumbling, run. Just run. Don't look back. Never go to budget clones for you when there's a sale on. Stay out of floor mopping guy's way. Keep Gusto the Clown at least 2 metres away because he's a biter. Cecil always leaves his wallet at home, so don't buy him a drink. There's a whole galaxy of stuff out there needing shipped, shot, rescued, looted, repaired, destroyed, bought and sold, and you can earn yourself a very fetching Hutton decal for doing it. How, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you how. Just go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the delicious new Hutton Helper, available in 3 mouth-watering flavours. Let's face it, anything has to be better than being out with your shorts and t-shirt on when you get a sudden spring snowstorm. Anyway, that's it for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Mia. I just want to know how Alex Zuno managed to bag bounties in the sum of all my internet passwords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Have I been hacked? You know, I'm going to have to change them all back to 1, 2, 3, 4 or password 66 right now. Anyway, whilst I go away and think about that, it would be time for Amelia with the Galnet Rares Digest, but apparently she's not yet completely recovered from whatever she ate, drank, chased her, rubbed up against other last week, delete as appropriate, and she says that she doesn't want to talk about it just yet, so you'll have to wait until next week.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about it.
No.
You got temperature? Ooh, yeah, you do. Oof.
Yeah.
A bit flushed.
Is it Johnny? I got to ask this. Is it Johnny S or Johnny's?
Johnny S. It's a capital. It's a capital S.
Johnny S. A capital S. Sadly.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't have rubber in front of it either.
What did Johnny S do?
Oh, Johnny S. Johnny S. Let me just find out for you.
Sorry, I could.
It was one of the categories that we don't read out every week. But
there we are. Or mind. 3,259. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we don't. Although we don't read out all the categories every week, we do look at them and give people a decal if they don't have one.
It would get a bit tedious if you went through every category every week, wouldn't it?
It's tedious enough as it is.
Yes, quite. That was the feedback we've been getting. Yes.
Yes.
Mostly from us.
Is what I was aiming for, so that's great.
Big thanks to Alex Zuno, though. Thank you.
Yes, she's a woman of her word.
I'll have to think up something else.
And you can
that must have been planned.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3,
yeah,
4,
it is.
5,
That was
6, 7, 8.
That was requested.
It was
Yeah,
she suggested it a couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago, she sent out a sort of challenge. What sort of numbers would you like to do? And
last week I asked for all the 8s, and we got all the 8s.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Let me show you a website where you can look all that lot up. How to do it? It'll teach you all sorts of stuff. Thanks to her and Valkyrius, all grey code and stuff like that. That was a good show. Have we got anything else we want to chat about before we
make it up to an hour and a half?
Well, no, so that Amelia can dash off and go and see. Well, at least tonight's not a complete waste. I'll go and watch a movie now. You know.
Yeah, I've got to watch a movie night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall asleep 10 minutes into it.
Probably. Yeah.
That's good.
Don't Look Up the other night.
Yes, it's good. I thought that was funny. I quite like that.
Okay.
Just Don't Look Up. But when's that?
It's about an asteroid that's going to obliterate Earth.
Oh, that one. Aye, that was
they
good.
can't get anybody to sort of talk about it or take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's quite a good.
It would be filled with the sort of people who would be on the Golga Finch and B arc, wouldn't it? You know.
Is that the one with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a cast of thousands.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So
it's better than Armageddon.
Yeah. But I thought it was.
Armageddon,
I thought it was good. Yeah.
I wasn't doing that one.
Space Cowboys, right? Which is us, really, isn't it? Well, we've done that. Thank you, Vantian, for popping in and not popping in.
For whatever it is you did.
Whatever you did today, you're stamping people's tickets today. Up in the Midland land, and thanks to the rest of my crew. There we go. We've got Commander Chicks. Yes.
Yes. No,
Flossy.
I'm supposed to say.
Flossy.
Yeah.
Amelia and Mia and all that
Yay.
stuff. Yes, everybody.
Good night.
And thank you to Commander Connor Jennings for coming in and talking to us and bringing us up to date with what you did.
Yes, indeed.
You ready, Flossy?
You ready?
Or you got your headphones off, because tonight you get the live version.
You might want to go and stand in the far side of the room as well.
Last week when you couldn't be with us,
I got to make up for lost time here.
Last week when you couldn't be with us, people relaxed, but I've got it queued on a button.
I knew you had it queued on a button. I was waiting.
Good night, everyone, and it's all
for the mug!
For the mug!
Journey too long, no cargo too small. Profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading all the teen out to the brim with the rest for the more. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, everybody sing the trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Skibble lies the pilot on the Xbox One. Helping out the free, you know he leads us. Well, trucking across the galaxy, now everybody out for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song. For the more, for the more, for the more. You know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song. So give me a large path that I can land on, and I'll give you cargo and sing you my song. No point 22 light years to go, cruising to no journey too long, no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud, like you don't even care. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Truckers song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too? Seamless.